SR93 Boxing back with a quick video. My thoughts on why fighters cherry pick. Now you could say a fighter cherry picks because they don't want to go through the work. They don't want to take chances. They want the least amount of risk with the most amount of reward. And we all want that, don't we? But the thing is, the argument for that is fighters should be, willing to take the risk. I mean, not crazy risk like Amir going up divisions to fight Brook. To fight Canelo, and Kell Brook did the same thing for Triple G. That's stupid. One almost was unconscious, and the other one has his face broke. He would have been blind, possibly, if he kept going on like that. But all these things are true. Like, fighters should take risks, but why don't they? Because they don't want that work. And because they don't want that risk, why don't they want that risk? Now we have to understand something. Why don't they want that risk? That's a big question. And a lot of times we do blame fighters for it. And I do blame fighters. I said Garcia cherry-picked Vargas. I said a lot of things. I said, what did I say? Who cherry-picked? Who did I say? I think Golovkin cherry-picks. I think Golovkin's a bit of a scam artist. He's a very good fighter, but he's a bit of a scam artist. Kell Brook cherry-picks, yo. Kell Brook's record, as I said in my previous video, is filled with filth. Tomato cans, cab drive, all kinds of bullshit. Like, he fought Golovkin, and he only beat one good fighter, which was Sean Porter. He looked kind of good against Golovkin. I thought the performance was good so far. How much more do you expect from a guy who was fighting at welterweight in all of his career and going up at 165 in Triple G? Not much. But this is a comment. This is my thoughts on why. Like, why is a fighter not going through that work? Because back in the day, fighters would. Why not now? It is true that people have gone a bit more lazier, and people want things easier now. But also, is it because that, or is it because of let me give you an example. If a fighter lost back in the day, maybe 10, 15, maybe 15, 20, 30, even 40 years ago in boxing, would they get ripped apart? Would the loss hit his career as brutal as right now? Because what I mean by that is this: if you lose now, a lot of your credibility is lost. A lot of your credibility to fight, like your ability as a fighter in the perception of the fans, is lost. And this is the thing, because let me give you an example. You remember Amir Khan, yeah? When he was fighting, at the age of 21, he fought a puncher by the name of Bredis Prescott. I don't remember Keith Thurman. I mean, Floyd Mayweather could have fought one, but I don't remember Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Kell Brook, and Errol Spence. None of these fighters have done that. I don't believe. Name me one puncher that Errol Spence faced. I don't know how young he is, but Amir Khan turned pro at the age of 18, I believe, or 19 rather, I think. And he, within 2 years, he fought a puncher. He went to the Olympics when he was 17. So from 17, he went 18, 19, 20, 21. Right? About 4 years. It's about 4 years, and has Errol Spence faced a puncher? And I'm fairly sure he will fight a puncher, but at the same time, his manager wouldn't let him, because that type of shit that Amir Khan went through against Bredis Prescott, getting knocked out in round 1, is a possibility if you put up 21-year-old prospect against a puncher like that. And if anyone wants to argue Bredis Prescott was not a puncher, 19 fights, 17 knockouts, and he lost. Came back. People were saying he's finished, but he came back. 2-time world champion. He did pretty well. Fought Barrera. You could say Barrera was not in his prime, but neither was Khan himself. He fought some guys that were pretty credible at the time. Now they're bums, obviously, but at the time they were credible. And he fought some guys that are names that decent names, big names actually. Paulie Malignaggi, not the biggest names obviously, but pretty big names. Paulie Malignaggi, Marcus Maidana, Zab Judah, Lamont Peterson, right? He faced, I'll repeat that again, Paulie Malignaggi, Marcus Maidana, Zab Judah, he was calling out Timothy Bradley. He was chasing Timothy Bradley. He had the fighter's mindset. He was chasing. He wanted everybody. What people see Keith Thurman as now, Amir Khan was back in the day. He went to he was the A side. He went to Peterson in his own hometown, knowing that he didn't have to. His names was kind of being mentioned against Floyd, and he could have really moved up to 147 and fight then. And you never know, the fight could have against Floyd might have happened because he was looking good. You know, a lot of people were not thinking of him as negatively in terms of him as a fighter. But you know what happened was he fought Peterson, robbery. He wanted to fight Peterson again for a rematch, and to be honest, Peterson, the fight didn't happen because of the drug test result where Peterson failed the drug test, and he goes out to fight Danny Garcia, a fight not only where Amir Khan was predicted to win, but he was like, people were rooting for Khan mainly because of what Danny Garcia's dad said. So this is a fight that people were rooting for. This is a fighter, and he lost. A fighter that he was rooting for, and a fighter that was winning till that punch he lost. When he went losing, how many people, and I want you to be honest, how many people lost, you know, they used to think really highly of Amir Khan. How many people lost that? How many people shitted on him afterwards? After that loss, how many people shitted on him? How has his career been impacted since that fight in terms of people's perception of him? How? Because, you know, you can say people's perception is nothing, but at the same time, fans pay to see the fight. And, you know, money's not everything, but money's one of the most important factors in boxing, because at the end of the day, they have to feed their family, right? So Amir Khan was chasing anyone and everyone, and as soon as he lost one fight against Danny Garcia, look how much he done pretty decently before he got knocked out against Danny Garcia, and all of a sudden that one fight, and people started shitting on him. People started to shit on him really badly. Now, imagine you're in that situation. You're beating all these people, and you just lost that one fight. People were shitting on you. People, to the point where it actually was really highly disrespectful. Would you take another chance like that? Would you like to even give a lot? I mean, there will be some fans, like a lot of the fans, that would want Khan to be back and would, you know, support him. You know, a lot of boxing fans will support him as well, even if they're not strictly Amir Khan fanboys, just pathetic Amir Khan fanboys. But you know, they will still support him because they're still a fan of the fighter and they're a fan of boxing. But a lot of people wouldn't support him. I mean, they might support him, but they won't think highly of him. They just shit on him. Oh, glass chin, this and that. Would you think Amir Khan? If you were in that position, would you take another fight, another risky fight? Would you? Would you take another risky fight? You wouldn't. And because you shitted on him, that's the reason he don't give a fuck about the fans. If Amir Khan wasn't like that, he would have probably fought Keith Thurman. He would have probably fought Sean Porter. He wouldn't have fought Kell Brook yet. There's reasons why. I will make a video on that when I feel like it's appropriate. But he would have fought a lot of these fighters. And had the fans not done that, this is one example. There's many examples to this, right? Danny Garcia was doing really well. Again, he picked Khan, he picked Morales twice, he picked Judah, Matisse. All of a sudden, a soft touch, and he doesn't look good in it. People shit on him. He started to realize that, you know, it can detrimentally affect his career, and that's why he kind of started cherry picking. He's not scared of these fighters, just like Khan's not scared of these rest of his rivals. But it's just because to a point where I feel like they don't give a fuck about fans. They just think what's best for their career. They say, okay, I'll take a soft touch because I don't feel like going through that work. I mean, it's not like it's going to be a big reward, because after all, if I look a bit bad in my performance, people are going to shit on me. People were shitting on Khan already when he got robbed against Peterson. So You know, at the end of the day, we can sit there and say, oh, these fighters not giving the fans what they want. At the end of the day, partly it's your fault. It is your fault because you have been shitting on these fighters, and you need to stop shitting on these fighters. You need to stop discrediting these fighters for a loss. You can have an opinion of these fighters that this fighter won't probably beat it, but you need to still respect these fighters, and still want hopefully because they gave you great fights, right? So if if the fighters get the sense that, okay, I am being respected in terms of my ability and things like that, then they will be taking chances, because the fans don't mind. The fans don't mind the loss, because if fans were not stupid, they wouldn't mind that Amir lost against Danny Garcia. I'm using Amir because I just gave that example, right? What they wouldn't mind. What they would do is, okay, he lost the fight. Maybe Danny Garcia is better. They would think, or they might think Danny Garcia is not better. He just got lucky. Whatever they want to think here. Even if you think Danny Garcia was better, he was better that night. But even if you think he's a better overall fighter, and if they were to rematch, Danny Garcia will beat him again. Amir gave him good fights. Amir is a very good fighter. Stop shitting on him. You don't have to credit him all the time, but you don't have to discredit him so much. And this is the reason. This is why the fighters roll around with their undefeated record without taking chances, and fans buy into this undefeated shit just because they haven't lost. If I fight 100 little kids that have no boxing skill, nothing, I'll beat 100 of them. One-on-one, I'll beat 100 of them, and that does, so what, it makes me 100-0 with 100 knockouts, and I'm undefeated, but so what? Undefeated doesn't mean shit. It's who you fight and you become undefeated, right? Floyd Mayweather's undefeated record meant a lot, but Kell Brook's undefeated record, especially prior to Sean Porter fight, did not mean shit. And that could be one of the reasons why Kell Brook has not taken the chances. I shit on Kell Brook all the time, but at the same time, I keep it real. I shit on Kell Brook's, to be honest, I don't shit his ability. If he lost to Sean Porter or anyone, I don't shit on him for that. I shit on him for fighting cherries. But people buy into the undefeated hype. People keep saying people keep saying even before the Golovkin fight that, oh, Amir Khan's lost so many times, Kell Brook's still an undefeated fighter. That's the thing. If Amir Khan takes another loss by fighting big names, there's no guarantee that Kell Brook will keep his O with that big name. He lost his O already against Golovkin, but there's no guarantee that if Kell Brook did not fight Golovkin and he goes on to fight some other good fighter and he still lost, he could still lose. There's no guarantee because Kell Brook's fighting bums. Amir Khan would probably think that if you're in this situation where you fought loads of good fighters and you see another fighter just fighting bums, you might just change your mind and say, wait a minute, this guy's taking no chances. He's getting all this credit in the world just because he hasn't lost. But I'm taking all these chances, and all of a sudden I take one loss and people shit on me. So I might as well just not take these risks. I might as well just say, fuck it. Because people will credit me. If I'm winning, people will credit me. What's the point of taking all these chances? There's no point. So the moral of the story, not as a story, it's a reality. The moral of this shit is, stop shitting on these fighters just because they lost. I'm out. SR93 Boxing back with a quick video. My thoughts on why fighters cherry pick. Now, you could say a fighter cherry picks because they don't want to go through the work. They don't want to take chances. They want the least amount of risk with the most amount of reward. And we all want that, don't we? But the thing is, the argument for that is fighters should be, willing to take the risk. Not a crazy risk like Amir Khan going up divisions to fight to fight Canelo, and Kell Brook did the same thing for Triple G. That's stupid. One almost was unconscious and the other one has his face broke. He would have been blind, possibly, if he kept going on like that. But all these things are true. Like, fighters should take risks, but why don't they? Because they don't want that work, and because they don't want that risk. Why don't they want that risk?